Hey, I'm John Tabler. Welcome back. Today we're going to do something really cool. You're going to see something you've probably never seen before. Now, most people have either seen whipped cream being made or they've made it themselves, but we're going to go further than that. And it's actually going to be butter when it gets done. And why am I going to do that? Well, it's interesting to see, for one. Two is if you actually get the cream from a dairy that can give you raw milk, it can actually be probiotic and really, really good for you in the same way that sourdough and all the other fermented foods are. But once it's pasteurized, it really won't ferment in the same way and be a full spectrum probiotic, although you can add a starter to it and you can make it that way. So raw cream would be like this that you would get, and I could do it that way, but most people are going to be able to get cream, heavy whipping cream. This is organic from the store. And of course, when you get done, you could add a starter to it. But what we're going to do is another food chemistry experiment, which is really, really cool to see. And when you put the cream into the bowl, and once again, just as in one of my other videos, the thing that makes it really work is the magic wand, which, as I've said before, you got to be careful with because it has a spinning blade. So once you connect it to power, you do not want to let that thing go anywhere. You don't know where it's going. So, but once you put it in there, you've probably seen, like I said, whipped cream being made before. You whip it and the substances in the cream grab together and just end up forming a solid. It's just incredible. But if you keep going, it turns to butter. And so we're going to go like this for a while. And you can see, if I lift that up, the most interesting thing is that the cream looks entirely white, but when it gets all the way to butter, it will look yellow. And why is that? Well, if you look online, they say that it was always yellow, and it's the light reflecting in the cream that has air in it that makes it look or appear white, but it's actually yellow. I don't know, because it's quite a few darker shades of yellow. But as you churn it, you can see now it's starting to turn solid. And one of the benefits of going further and making butter from it is that all store-bought butter is going to have salt and lactic acid bacteria added to it as a preservative. You don't have to have anything added to it. You buy your cream completely fresh. Look at that. Now, right now, for anybody that wants a healthy snack or is on a carnivore diet or anything like that, in which they eat primarily meat and protein, eggs, and that type of thing, you can add a spoonful of honey to this and then put it in the refrigerator, and just at any time you want, there you go. Isn't that amazing how that does, just turns to whipped cream like that? And like I said, you've probably seen that before, but what's amazing is if you just keep going, which in the old times, of course, was known as churning butter, but I wouldn't want to be doing this, at least outside in the heat, continually. That would have taken a lot of work to do that, because imagine how many times this is whipping around in here. It's a little bit harder with a wand at this point than it would be if they were beaters, because you have to keep going around it. But if you just continue, now what you can do, I put one in there. If you add two, because that's not really going to make a ton of butter. What we're going to do now is add another. So I'm going to pour that in. And now you can see that's completely liquid, just almost like milk. And I'm doing this to get a little bit more in the bowl so that we can really churn it really well. You can see it still really looks white. Now I'm starting to see shades of yellow. It gets a little harder because it's thick. When you churn the butter, it feels more kind of like it'll churn your arm with the strength it takes. And I got to hold that bowl in place. We're going to keep going though. Now, like I said, with the normal beater that has the two sticks come out that spin, it will go a little bit easier at this point. But very soon it'll start getting into globs, because what's happening is the fat just continues to coagulate, to coalesce together. And all of a sudden what will happen is, you can see it getting more yellow. All of a sudden what will happen is that these solids just completely separate from the liquid. At the stage it is now, if you put a spoonful now of honey, just take your best raw honey and take a spoonful or 2 spoonfuls and put it in, and it makes the best snack. You just put it in the refrigerator, and anytime you want, you just take a spoon out. It's like having a spoon of ice cream. Obviously, is why they call it churning butter, because it takes a while in any case, even if you have something that plugs in like what I'm using. But now you can see, as I continue to go, that it's turning yellow. And it said that that is because the way the light reflects, as I said, but I don't know, you be the judge of that. And what we're going to get here soon is buttermilk, which is what comes off of the butter splits into the pure fat and the liquid, and the liquid falls out of it, and that's where buttermilk's derived from. We're just about there. It's getting wetter, and the whipped cream is now leaving. But I'm getting a little bit of a workout because, and yeah, I don't have a butter churner, but even using this and just stirring it takes a bit. But if you're patient and you're not making a video like I am, you don't have to really hurry. You just do a little bit, stop, you'll be done in 5 minutes. We're getting really close now. But to have butter, you have to actually take out all of the liquid. And until the liquid appears, you don't have butter yet. There it is for the first time. Now you can start to see the liquid appearing out of the whipped cream. And then it happens really quickly. You can see it falling down from the side now. It gives you a respect for the old time when they used a churner and did everything by hand and just put a plunger in it over and over. And the thing that gets a little bit hard about doing it the way I'm doing it is because that what was whipped cream is turning to butter, and you know how thick butter is, and when you turn that, there's a lot of resistance against it. So in the same way, if you've ever lifted weights before, you got to take a little rest, do sets, so to speak. But we're just about there. And then what we have to do is we have to strain off the buttermilk. And that can be used for so many recipes and so many good things. We're right about there now. So you can see, try not to make too big of a mess. I'm going to disconnect this because I don't want to have that blade. Always disconnect it because that blade is not forgiving. So now you can see that all this liquid has now reappeared. And as I pour it off, what's left is the pure fat from the milk. And now look at the color of it. Isn't that incredible? The color is just completely yellow now. And so to make the butter, what you have to do is press it against the wall and squeeze the rest of the buttermilk out. So in doing that, it's really not high tech or anything. You just squeeze the butter out. Now, if it's just for you and your hands are clean, or nobody cares, you can do it with your hands. But I'm doing it like this. You just smear it against the wall of that bowl, and you see that the buttermilk comes to the bottom. And again, like I said, you don't have to salt this because they're salting it in stores because it's not fresh. It's a long time removed from being made, and the salt keeps anything from keeps it from spoiling basically, and over a long period. Or they put lactic acid bacteria in it, so you're really not tasting the pure butter or the pure cream. Because often I've thought, well, ice cream is eggs and milk and or cream and basically honey and vanilla or sugar and vanilla. But I've often thought, well, why doesn't butter have a similar thing where you can make ice cream from it? Well, you could, like this, or something that tastes like that, because there's no salt in it. But normal butter, most people don't salt their ice cream unless it has caramel on it, which is pretty good. So you see that, you can see that buttermilk squeezing out, and now all that's necessary is to form that into whatever you want. A stick, or just grab a bowl and scoop your, now that is thick. I mean, that's butter. And that started off, obviously, you know from the start, as cream, which is a consistency almost of milk. But if you do this and put it in a bowl and stick it in the refrigerator, it's not going to get old anytime soon in the refrigerator. You want to have the buttermilk out of it because that will make it get old a little bit quicker. But you know, the buttermilk will keep as long as regular milk. If you end up getting a raw cream or raw milk, or you're not going to make this from raw milk, but raw cream, it will keep much longer because it will essentially start fermenting. But when you get done, you have real butter, 100% cream, fresh, not salted, no additives whatsoever. It tastes a little bit sweet, ultra fresh. Nothing like a stick of butter really when you buy it. I mean, I can't say nothing. It tastes something like that, but not near as fresh and and incredible. Now, the buttermilk, it doesn't have the fat in it any longer, but it also doesn't taste like skim milk. It's really totally different. And throughout history, the buttermilk was always set aside and used in biscuits and all sorts of baking, and you can do just the same. But I wanted you to see that, how incredible that is, to watch white cream turn into yellow butter right in front of you. So give it a try. You're really going to like it. I know that was a little bit of a workout using the wand, but you know, you can go about it however you want. It really doesn't take that long. And so you can stop and come back, but once it turns, and you got the best butter ever. You're going to love it. Hit like and subscribe. Put your comments down below and let me know what you think about this. I'll see you in the next video.